Hey beekeepers, this is Andrew with Mann, and this is our October edition of the Beekeepers Buzz for the Southeast. And I know what we are all going through right now in the Southeast, what Hurricane Helene did to so many parts of the Southeast and so many states. It's just a terrible tragedy what's happened. And I know that bees, for some of us in the Southeast, will be the last thing on our mind, which is fine. But there are plenty of us and plenty of others who may be wondering, our hives were in the path of the storm. What are things we need to look for? What are things we need to be proactive in doing so we can ensure that our hive is successful? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about that and hopefully help you guys a little bit. When you have an impact the way Hurricane Helene hit our country and came right up into the Southeast, it's going to completely annihilate forage. I understand some of us in the Southeast, our forage may be intact, and if that's the case, then we just keep on doing what we've been doing up to this point already. If you live in an area where tons of forage has been washed away, trees down, roads are gone, so on and so forth, lots of wind and lots of rain, that is going to greatly affect the forage abilities of those bees going forward. So if the forage has not actually physically been destroyed, but it was in that violent wind and rain, what's going to happen is it's going to shake any fall bloom, anything that was going to be there. It's going to shake it off, and so in turn, your bees are going to go out foraging and looking for food, and if there's none available to them, they will come back empty-handed, exerting a lot of calories and energy, and then they will need to replace that, and that's where their supplies will begin to dwindle, greatly. So it's important to make sure if you are in an area that has been heavily impacted by Hurricane Helene, that you are able to feed them. You probably want to opt away from a patty right now while things are getting figured out. You may not be able to get there, but you could always feed a dry pollen, which will allow them to go out and forage, and it would replace any lack of a nectar source or a pollen source, that may be available to the bees at that time. Now, going to the nectar side of things, we're going to need to make sure that our bees have a steady flow of sugar water or a syrup of some sort. And that's going to give the bees the carbohydrates they need in order to continue to grow and continue to thrive or rebound if needed. The other thing that you have to be conscious of is that it's not uncommon for queens to stall out if they are in these major direct hits of storms like this. So look for making sure that your hive is queen right, and then of course that 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now that you're still seeing fresh eggs and young brood being laid in that hive. You may not. And if that happens, then you'll be ahead of the game, and you'll know that your hive probably needs a new queen. There's a lot that happens, especially with livestock and agriculture, and the stress levels that these animals go through in events like this. So keep an eye on that. So right now, I don't have much else to say other than we are so sorry for everything that's happened, and we will be there to help support any way that we're able to, and we just hope that everyone's okay. And if some of these tips help you, then we're happy, and that's it. So